your urge to relive your youth and have acquired yourself a classic Commodore Amiga. Now what? Hey everybody, it's Chris and welcome to another video. So let's go worst case. You have an Amiga 500, a power supply, and a mouse that works. So what do you do, or how do you use it? Well, today we're going to go worst case and we're going to do start to finish. There are several different approaches you can take on using this again. If you have a disk drive, and there's a couple things if you've invested into acquiring one of these again, or if you own one and just haven't used it and mysteriously all of your disks are gone, we're going to go over what you can do. There's a couple things that you're going to need in addition to your Amiga that's going to make your life easier. And you can easily purchase Amiga OS 3.1.4 and the ROMs for it from various Amiga vendors around the world. So to get started, what I'm going to do to show you this screen, you're going to need something different. This is just an El Cheapo eBay Chinesium SCART to HDMI upscaler. This is a SCART to 23 pin, and it's not an official 23 because they ran out of 23 pin connectors, so they're taking 25s and chopping them off. This will plug into the back of the Amiga on the video slot. This then is SCART, plugs directly in here. You power the unit and you plug an HDMI in to your device, and off and running you go. With that, I'm going to pan up and we're going to go to HDMI, which is no signal right now. So 2.0 ROMs, as you can see, the Amiga is doing nothing. So what would I do? If you do acquire the new Workbench discs, they come with a ROM, which you will have to replace the boot ROM to get off of Workbench 2.0 and get onto Workbench 3.1.4. So here we are on Amigaforever.com, and what you can do is you can buy the value edition of Amiga Forever, downloadable installer for Windows, for $10. Legal access to all the Workbench revisions and the ROMs. You also get Amiga Explorer. So right here is Amiga Explorer, and I can use this to run the Amiga Explorer software on an actual Amiga and drag and drop files to it. But that's a little bit later after we get a disk working. Another thing you should invest in, not stickered like this one and Commodored up, is one of these. This is a Gotek drive. What is a Gotek drive? Well, we've done many videos on these in the past, and many of our fellow counterpart Amiga users and YouTubers have shown these. This is a floppy emulator, originally designed for a Yamaha organ to allow it to not load disks but load organ MIDI files off of a USB drive. Some wonderful people have developed firmware for the Amiga, the Atari ST, Amstrad, Radio Shack Tandies, all sorts of things. You can buy these pre-flashed on eBay. It'll run you 40 to 50 US dollars if you buy them pre-flashed. I buy mine empty and flash them myself. If you don't feel comfortable with doing that, it's a super simple process. Check out some of my old videos where I did flash it. It doesn't take too long, and it can save you a bunch of money if you're going to be doing this a lot. But for this exercise, pre-done, I recommend just either replacing DF0 altogether. The only problem with that on an Amiga 500, there's not a lot of room for the Gotek. Now you get the USB drive, it'll be right here, but to flip disks is a little bit of an issue with the buttons. Don't cut your case just for a Gotek drive. It's not worth it. So what we're going to do in this instance is we're going to remove the case so I can show you how it works. Pin 1 is here, so it matches up perfectly. The only problem with it is the Molex connector is always down here on the Amiga. Well, it's on this side on the Gotek, but you can just pull on it a little bit, and because the screws are out in the back, this actually lifts up a little bit. You can also remove these tabs if you wanted to, but for simplicity, I am not. One thing you do want to check on your Gotek drive is to make sure that it is set for S0. that is the same as running DF0 on a real Amiga. If you do not do this, it will not boot your images properly. So just verify it's a quick test. S0 is correct. We're going to plug in the connector. Boop. And we're going to plug in its power. From that aspect, we are done. There's nothing else you need to do right now. And this does fit in here, as you can see. And we could put the case on if we pulled the cable out, and it would kind of fit right up to the end, like so. But when you put the case back on, I'll leave the keyboard out for a moment, you can see it's kind of not lined up correctly. So there are 3D printed brackets. You can use your Amiga drive cable if you really want it right there. Some people even run a longer cable and run it out the back. It's up to you. So for this aspect, we're done here. We're going to go to the PC side, and I'm going to show you a couple other things. So when you finally put the disk in the drive, if you don't have a disk, you can mount the ISO file that you download from them if you choose not to buy the actual disk. If you do actually purchase the disk, on the inside, besides the disk and my serial number, you will get an actual floppy of the Amiga Explorer software that is bootable for a real Amiga. If you're thinking of even trying to do this, don't. You need a Accelerator before you can run 3.9. For this exercise, I inserted a 16 gig USB Memorex drive and formatted it FAT32, and on my Amigaforever disk, I then copied all the ROMs that were installed as part of Amigaforever. You can browse the directory, and it's in Amiga files, and then you have shared, and then ADF, and these are all the operating systems you get. There's also some other various utilities like transdisk, transrom, other things that Amigaforever uses, as well as some hard drive complete image installs, and the ROMs if you were to use WinUAE on your machine. So I've go ahead and I've made some folders, and I've copied 3.1 from there and renamed them accordingly, and I also copied my purchased digital 3.1.4. But I also copied some other stuff to my thumb drive, following the guidelines of FlashFloppy and how you use this with the Gotek. It's all in the README file on how to make the thumb drives. You basically copy the auto boot HFE out of the Amiga directory in FlashFloppy and the HXC SDFE config file. Once you do that, we can then pop this sucker right into the Gotek drive here. So we're just gonna put this in. Now this is just a rough, this is not grounded, it doesn't matter. And when we turn this on, auto boot is going to load a menu for FlashFloppy. And this is how you use a Gotek. Using the Amiga's keyboard, press the help key, it'll tell you what you want. This is how you can use a Gotek inside an Amiga without pushing the buttons. You can select whichever slot you want, and then if you were to press F3, you can turn all the different things on. DF1 drive is on, load auto boot at HFE at power up, so you could have it always load your tracks. But for that, we're just going to say exit. So now I have this OS31 folder. Whoops. And if I go install 3.1, I'm going to go work a 3.1. Hit enter. I can choose a disk. So I'm going to choose slot number 20. And then we'll do extras 21. You know what, let's just do it in order. Install will be 19. Locale, I know it's supposed to be 21, we're going to do 22. Storage 23. When you're done, you press F10 and it'll reboot. Now I gotta get the slot number 21, 20 for workbench. So this is workbench 3.1, even though I need workbench 2. Alright, here is OS 3.1, workbench 40 on a 2. Kickstart, funny. Okay, 20, I'm going to open up RAM, insert utilities 2, copy Amiga Explorer to RAM, put the workbench disk back in, get this daggone backdrop off, and I'm going to try running Amiga Explorer again from a workbench disk. Alright, didn't yell. Now back on my PC, we're going to double click on Amiga Explorer, and as you can see here, here's RAM, here's my workbench, here's my Kickstart 2 ROM, here's my workbench ADF file. Why is it an ADF file? Because it's interpreted. Any disk you insert, if it was a physical disk, it would still be an ADF, and if I wanted to copy it, I could just literally drag it to my desktop, and 880K over a 38.4 serial connection would begin to copy. And as you can see on the Logitech here, it is actually copying, and you can see the read track going on the Gotek very slowly. It is copying. I'm going to cancel this. Now if you're getting stuck on Amiga Explorer here, here's what you do. Because I quit it mid-flight, you can always just double click on Amiga Explorer and it will cancel it. Bam, Amiga Explorer stops. Your PC will toss an error in a second because it can't connect. I'm free again over here. Some people will actually copy the 47K Amiga Explorer. They'll delete some language files off of either their install disk or something in here and make it so you can have a trimmed down workbench disk just to boot from. There's the error for my COM port. No problem on that. Yep, I understand. So I'm going to launch Amiga Explorer again. So if I go to my Amiga share on my server and I wanted something else, like an app, I wanted sysinfo and sysinfo.info, and I'm going to copy those to RAM. Here's my sysinfo. I basically just drug it over and copied it to the Amiga's RAM disk. So now we'll go back to HDMI and we'll close and reopen RAM, go back into RAM. And here's sysinfo that I copied over our little serial network. The benefit of this way of doing things in the long run, if you have nothing, is at least it gets you started. If you have a hard drive controller, you had no disks, the Gotek could get you a bootable operating system off of anything you want. We can download pretty much any utility disk, any operating system disk if you own Amiga Forever, and so forth. And when you're done, just close it and you're back to your computer. Alright, so here's some different systems you get with Amiga Forever. This is the Plus Edition. If you don't put your serial number in, you get the basic value edition, which is fine. So let's say I want to play Batman. I'm putting Batman 1 and 2. I'm copying it right to the root of the Gotek. Done. Okay? Taking this thumb drive out. I'm putting it into the Amiga here. Out of the way. It's once again, it's going to boot off the bootloader. And your display, if you have one, should say host direct access or whatever. So here's Batman. Enter. Now if I want to boot off this, I think I can just press F7. So I think it's F7. And it reboots with Batman in the drive. And I'll turn my sound on. So anyway, there's Batman. I didn't do anything. That is a quick overview of a 16 gig Lexar USB 2.0 drive. Using it on a Gotek, on an Amiga 500. And that gets you running from nothing. And the wonderful Amiga Explorer with a serial cable. $10 you can buy Amiga Forever. Here it is. When you buy Amiga Forever, you get an actual Amiga Forever disk format Amiga. So you can boot off of this and it loads up into Amiga Forever. Or Amiga Explorer. Booting the Amiga on the Amiga Forever disk with the actual floppy installed. I try to alcohol this after I touch it if I don't wear gloves, because I don't really want fingerprints on it, and that's why you might see some smudging right here. I just haven't wiped it off totally yet. It's just the alcohol traces. Strange. So did you see it launch Amiga Explorer real quick? So now, in theory, just booting off of this disk gives me access to the RAM, and it gives me an MS0 disk icon also. There we go. So here's the AF disk. It just has Amiga Explorer on it, and the trans disk ROM. and MSH. There is the Amiga and its weird MS0 drive. MS0.hdf is a PC720K file. That's that. I still love the animation. But that is how you make an Amiga work from nothing. At least get you started, and you can expand your learning, playing from there. But at least it gets you running. And if you've already invested, in your Amiga, it's wise to just get yourself a Gotek and get yourself a USB to serial cable. If you can't find a DB25, they're around. Just take your time and look, and make sure it's supported on whatever version of Windows or Mac OS you're running. Unfortunately, Amiga Explorer does not work on the Macintosh side. For years they have been saying that they're going to get it working, and I just realized that's all I got for today. So thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something.